Midterm elections are taking over the country tomorrow. Rideshare services and public transportation are making sure you can get to the polls.
You have to be 18 to vote in the midterms, but not to work on Election Day. High school students in Compton are preparing to work the polls tomorrow.
On the eve of Election Day, candidates are linking up with prominent political figures and entertainers to ensure their message is heard.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
After months of anticipation, it is finally the eve of midterm elections. Good evening, I'm Nikki Walker.
And I'm Trevor Sahaki. Transportation is a constant problem in California, especially on Election Day. According to an MIT survey, about half of the people who didn't vote in California in 2016 said it was because of transportation issues. Our reporter Ali Duclo shows us how some organizations are trying to get more people to the polls this Election Day.
Jeremy Levin catches the metro to get everywhere.
I don't have a car and I live in LA, so I don't think I would be really getting anywhere without it.
Metro plans to make it a little easier to get to places on Election Day by giving out free rides on all their buses, trains, and even bikes.
Mid-elections usually have a lower turnout. It's our way of kind of saying thanks, try to get out the vote, and give people access to the transportation that they may need.
Lyft and Uber will be providing discounted rides to the polls. To get an Election Day promo code from Lyft, all you need to do is go to buzzfeed.com/pollup2018 and type in your zip code. The Election Day promo code for Uber is VOTE2018. Both applications can also help you find your polling locations. In a statement to Annenberg Media, Lyft said, quote, "Every voice is important, and we're excited to help make them heard in this year's elections."
I think there are going to be people who otherwise might not have taken the trouble to drive to the polls or take public transit to the polls, who are going to just call a Lyft or an Uber and say, I'm going to my polling place, and that's going to make a difference.
And the free ride from Metro could make a big difference for Jeremy Levin.
I'd say that now is a pretty prominent time to speak for what you believe in. The world is definitely in a spot where we need the voice of our generation to be representing it.
You can find out details about getting a ride to the polls on the Lyft, Uber, and Metro websites. For Annenberg Media, I'm Ali Duclo.
This election season, politicians across the country have turned to texting potential voters. Annenberg Media's Taylor Elliott spoke to students about some of the messages they have received.
Have you been getting random text messages from politicians? Well, you're not alone. Political campaigns send messages to voters to promote events, share information, and most importantly, encourage them to vote.
Well, I think obviously texting and emailing is the best way to get to young voters, and because there's this new wave of all of these young people voting early and for the midterm elections. So I think it could help in that. It's that daily reminder, hey, get your absentee ballot, especially for college voters, or hey, tell your friends.
You may be wondering how all these campaigns even got your phone number. Thank voter registration. The phone number you gave when you filled that out is what campaigns use to send you all those texts reminding you to get out and vote tomorrow.
Well, I was already registered. I re-registered. I don't think it was necessary for me to do that, but I did. And once I did that, it was immediately I started getting texts.
Voters can unsubscribe if they would like. One expert believes that as long as young people stay glued to their phones, politicians will keep sending out those texts.
Younger voters apparently are coming out in far more significant numbers, and that's the key. And as long as that's the key, you will see candidates continue to text and text and text.
Whether you got one of those text messages or not, make sure to cast your ballot in tomorrow's election. For Annenberg Media, I'm Taylor Elliott.
Everyone knows you have to be 18 to vote, but for students at Compton Early College High School, age doesn't stop them from being politically active. Reporter Denise Chan talked with students who are preparing to be poll workers tomorrow.
In a high school where only 3 students are 18, voting wouldn't seem like a topic of interest. But that's not true for these young teenagers.
I could spread awareness, I could make change, I could march with you guys, there's nothing different. The only difference is that you vote for change, I just fight for it.
Here at Compton Early College High School, 33 students are training to be poll workers. Teachers are letting them skip school tomorrow to help midterm voters.
Kind of nervous because I'm not too familiar with the process. I've never voted. So it's nerve-wracking and exciting to see it happen.
Kimberly Ponce is the teacher organizing the training. She's the advisor for Girls Build LA. That's the school's initiative aimed at getting students more civically engaged.
It's about agency and empowering them so that they are responsible for the narrative of Compton.
Despite their young age, the students here at Compton Early College High School are still passionate that they can impact change. They may not be able to vote quite yet, but what they can do is make sure everybody else is well informed about what's on the ballot.
I try to encourage them to make wise decisions, to just be aware of what they're voting for, not to just pick any random measure, proposition.
For the students who are old enough, they're excited.
I've been waiting a long time to vote just to say I'm old enough to vote.
The students will host a voter party later tonight. They'll tell friends and family what's on the ballot and encourage them to vote. For Annenberg Media, I'm Denise Chan.
Candidates have been working to get voters out to the polls.
Let's go to our political anchor, Albert Chen, to hear more about prominent guests who have been joining candidates. Albert?
Well, Nikki, politicians and celebrities have been hitting the campaign trail in a final effort to get people to vote. They've been posting on social media, speaking at rallies, and even knocking on doors to increase voter turnout.
First of all, I am so excited to be campaigning.
I am asking every citizen from every party and every background.
Today, Trump spoke at a rally in Ohio, urging the crowd to go to the polls. Trump also campaigned in Indiana. Meanwhile, Obama made a surprise visit in Virginia to rally supporters for Senator Tim Kaine. He told a crowd of campaign staffers that, quote, the character of this country is on the ballot. Celebrities are also supporting candidates in various ways. Rihanna took to Instagram to support Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum. Morgan Freeman phone banged for Katie Porter. Travis Scott even made an appearance at Beto O'Rourke's Houston rally, encouraging young voters to go out there and vote. In Georgia, Oprah Winfrey went door-to-door last week to canvass for governor candidate Stacey Abrams. Amy Schumer knocked on doors at the University of Nevada, offering to drive young voters to the polls herself. If you haven't voted yet, you can do so tomorrow on campus at the Ronald Tudor Campus Center. Back to you, Trevor and Nikki.
Thanks.
Thanks, Albert. And Annenberg Media, we will have live coverage on Facebook of the midterm elections starting tomorrow at 7 p.m. We'll bring you the latest results and analysis.
In other news, a judge has dismissed a lawsuit that challenged USC's new rush policies. LA Superior Court Judge Patricia Nieto ruled that postponing Greek life for new students until after the first semester does not violate their First Amendment rights. The attorney for the USC fraternities and one sorority says his clients plan to appeal. None of the 5 Greek organizations that filed the lawsuit would comment. USC is trying to show its efforts to improve sustainability on campus, but student groups aren't buying it.
I mean, we have no composting right now, and we actually just got recycling bins on campus, so that's bad. What a lot of students don't know is that if you throw something in the recycling bin that can't be recycled, if that becomes like 1/3 of the bin, then the entire recycling bin goes to landfill.
Okay. Today, students voiced their concern at a sustainability forum. Students are especially angry that the university has no composting bins around campus, and recycling doesn't always help. University officials say the university is not at fault for composting. LA County requires USC to use public services for our waste collection. Students are also concerned about the use of plastic bags in place like lemonade and seeds, and administration spokeswomen say they will look into changing that.
A South LA high school is using a new garden to promote sustainable farming and healthy eating.
A legendary ballot shoe manufacturer is breaking barriers for dancers of color.
USC hosted the second International Moon Village workshop today, and participants are setting up plans to eventually colonize the moon.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 5 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Got a quarter?
Researchers from around the world met at USC today to share new information about one of history's darkest days. 80 years ago this week, the Nazis torched synagogues and the homes, schools, and businesses of German Jews. That 1938 atrocity is known as Kristallnacht. One 83-year-old woman at the conference learned this history lesson firsthand.
About the Pittsburgh terror incident, and I realized that my talk would need to be not just historical, but one of comfort and consciousness raising, both political consciousness raising for our congregation.
She's worked with Holocaust survivors for 25 years. She says now more than ever, young people need to recognize their power and call out prejudice when they see it.
Manual Arts High School next to USC just opened its new garden. The high school invited Chef Edward Lee, a contestant on TV series Top Chef, to celebrate the opening with students. By opening a new garden, the school wants to help students develop a sustainable farming awareness at a young age. This morning, Chef Lee joined students at the newly opened garden. He walked students through the garden and showed them how to pick and cook with local ingredients.
Eating habits are so important, and it starts the younger the better. It's really important that you catch kids early it's not about gourmet food, but it's just about having them eat vegetables, taste something, cook, even if it's really simple things, so that they create a taste memory of it, so that when they get older, they'll have something to refer back to.
Teachers at Manual Arts High School will continue to manage the garden and use it as a tool to teach students about healthy cooking.
Well, to make all that great food, you're going to have great weather.
You definitely do. Let's see what Draco has in store for us for this week's forecast.
Hey guys, after a warm weekend, the temperature are starting to cooling down, and let's look at the current condition is 71 degree and the humidity is 39%. And let's look tomorrow in the Inland Empire. We're looking at the high 80s, and Big Bear is 64 degree. And if we go to the valley, is high 80s as well. But down there in the coast, Malibu is 72 degree. Let's go back to our USC, is 88 degree, and the entire LA region, except Pasadena, is all 80s. So if we look at the 5-day forecast from Tuesday to Saturday, we're seeing a little bit cooling down tomorrow in the election day. And at the end of the week, we're seeing temperatures going up to the 80 degree. So it's actually not only the sunny weather that's bringing people to LA. It's also the excitement of Asian film festivals. Several events this weekend brought Asian filmmakers to Hollywood. Lisa Liu is one of the first women in the film industry who helped open doors for Asian actors.
Now the Oscars Awards have films from more than 80 countries. When I first attended during the mid-60s, only 20 films came from foreign countries. It's really a huge progress.
Ming-Na Wen was the voice behind Disney's Mulan. She presented Lisa Liu a Lifetime Achievement Awards at the Asian World Film Festival.
With Crazy Rich Asians, the momentum keeps going, and we get to tell more of our stories because there's been so many directors and writers and actors, people in the media just waiting to get their chance.
With the rise of China's film industry, one U.S. banker is helping to lead the way.
There's so many wonderful people in China and here who really love and enjoy working together. We can use that as building blocks to create more success.
A Hollywood producer says miscommunication is the most common issue in the U.S.-China co-production process.
Based on language and cultural reference, and one side really not understanding the other side's, where they're coming from, and vice versa.
A festival organizer believes collaboration in the film industry will help improve mutual understanding.
Although we face barriers in politics and economics, we share a common purpose in arts. That is you understanding me and me understanding you.
Over 100 Asian films have been screening in Hollywood, and there are more to come. So guys, welcome to see some more Asian films in the weekends.
I look forward to it.
Yeah,
Thank you
sounds
so
very
much,
exciting.
Draco. The world of ballet is breaking tradition by making a point about diversity. Reporter Arlissa Norman spoke with ballerinas at the Gloria Kaufman School of Dance.
Ballerinas no longer have to think pink when it comes to their pointe shoes. Dancers of color are now able to buy shoes that are brown and tan. Today, one of the most popular pointe shoe manufacturers announced a new line of shoes in darker shades. Freed is a British company.
There are so many incredible African-American ballerinas that I'm so inspired by, and like the fact that they're wearing the shoes and like that I can wear the shoes is so incredible, and I'm excited to be a part of this.
Freed's decision follows on the heels of another pointe shoe company, Gaynor Minden, who released a similar line last year.
I've had a lot of dancers tear up when we talk to them about it because they're so used to having to do those extra steps to make themselves fit in. And it's something that we can do that says, you know, you're supposed to be here. We want you here. You fit in here. You belong here.
Until recently, dancers of color have had to pancake their pointe shoes to match the color of their skin. Pancaking is when a dancer takes their preferred shade of foundation and uses a makeup sponge to paint their shoe. This ritual has been a long-standing reminder of the lack of diversity in ballet.
I want to go into a contemporary ballet scene, and in contemporary ballet you wear nude pointe shoes that match your complexion, and it's going to make everything so much easier.
But not any easier to pay for. These pointe shoes cost about $100. For Annenberg Media, I'm Arlissa Norman.
USC men's water polo is on a tear right now.
And we bring in our sports guy, Keith DeMolder, to break down a wild USC sports weekend.
Thanks so much, Nikki and Trevor. Men's water polo looks invincible right now after 2 big wins this weekend. Sam Scalbanio is also here to break down one rusher who's bringing back Tailback U to Southern California. And you can't win them all. USC women's soccer earns a top seed in the NCAA tournament, but it's not what they expected. All of that and more on this edition of Annenberg TV Sports.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help.
You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home.
I blew on him.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. For the second straight year, the UCLA Bruins took down the Trojans last Friday, which dropped USC in the NCAA tournament rankings. The Trojans were named to the number 4 seed in the NCAA tournament today amid gasps and open mouths. We talked with senior forward Leah Pruitt after the announcement about Troy's upcoming first-round game with Long Beach State and this team's feelings on their number 4 seed.
I remember that game was our senior night, so it was really emotional. So I think going in without the emotion might help us a lot too. And I'm pretty sure I think it was 3-0, so we just gotta play how we play and come out strong. So we got something to prove. We're gonna go all the way, I think. So we just gotta take it one game at a time, and we might not have been the highest seed we want it to be, so we're probably going to have to travel, which we'll do it. We'll do it anywhere.
Against UCLA at the StubHub Center, the Trojans kept it close, but late-game goals from Bruins Haley Mace and Olivia Athens gave UCLA the 3-2 overtime win for the second straight year. Head coach Kadanim Galpine spoke after the game about how USC will rebound come next week.
Well, I think it's on our upperclassmen, ultimately. They understand the feeling of success from 2 years ago, and they understand the disappointment from last year. And I think it's those experiences that we now have to draw upon moving into the postseason to make sure that we bring our best.
The Trojans, if they win their first round home game against Long Beach State, will take on the winner of LSU and Boston University next week in the second round. Now we send it to Sam at the video wall to tell us more about a guy you might not be aware of. Sam, what's the latest?
Thanks, Keith. The Trojan football squad headed up to Corvallis, Oregon this past weekend and got themselves a dub. The offense came alive to score 38 against the Beavers in a night of firsts. Senior Aka Cedric Ware had himself a night, 205 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. His first game over 200 yards and first with 2 scores over 50 yards. Ware wasn't the only one with a career night in Corvallis. Freshman Devin Williams caught his first career touchdown on Sunday, and boy, it was a good one. Midway through the second quarter, Daniels drops back and delivers an absolute dime to Williams to put the Trojans up 14. The pair of freshmen almost made it look too easy. But just like Kanye going back to Chi-Town, the Trojans are coming home. The Cowbears roll into town this Saturday for homecoming weekend, and SC needs a dub to have a chance at a Pac-12 title. Hopefully a home crowd and another strong offensive performance can get them back a win. Back to you, Keith.
Some people like the O-Cedar, or maybe even the Libman. Either way, the USC men's and women's swim and dive team pulled out the brooms this past weekend and swept the visiting Arizona State Sun Devils and Arizona Wildcats. While it was a group win, we're now going to highlight 3 Trojans who excelled this past weekend. Senior Riley Scott won 3 times in the 100-yard breast, 200 medley relay, and 200 breaststroke. As for All-American Louise Hansen, the junior won in the 100 back, 200 medley relay, 200 back, and 100 fly. As for the men, Patrick Mulcair led the way with wins in the 200 medley relay, 100 back, and 200 back. From one sweep to another, USC clearly loves to keep things clean as USC women's volleyball earned 2 3-0 victories against Oregon and Oregon State. Emily Batista led the way with 28 combined kills as the Trojans collected their 7th and 8th sweeps of the year. Well, it's sure lonely here at the top. The #1 USC men's water polo team is now 27-1 this season after wins over Cal and UC Irvine this weekend. USC bashed the Bears on Saturday in a 13-7 victory that saw 8 different Trojans score. Driver Jakob Mersup led the team with 3 goals, while Sawyer Rhodes, Marko Vavic, and Haynes Dobby netted 2 goals apiece. We talked with NPSF Newcomer of the Week Nick Porter about USC's big game against UCLA this Saturday.
We're really looking forward to having UCLA here. Obviously, they're our rivals, but we respect them a lot. They're a fantastic team with a great coach. So, you know, we're going to need to come out here and perform the same way we did today if we want to get a result.
Just like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, sometimes you have to take down your own to rise to the top. Finally, USC tennis senior Jack Yeda defeated fellow Trojan Jake Devine 6-4 and 6-2 to collect his first collegiate single championship this weekend at the Jack Kramer Collegiate Tennis Tournament in Rolling Hills. The #5 ranked USC women's golf team is currently in 3rd place in the Pac-12 preview today at 2 under behind Colorado and Cal. Trojan golfer Gabby Ruffles is currently 2nd at 4 under. USC's 3rd place finish today comes after a big 3-2 win in the East Lake Cup over rival Stanford last Saturday. Guys, a big win for USC at Oregon State. Hopefully they can do it again at homecoming.
Yes, I hope so too, and I look forward to watching that game.
Definitely looking forward to the game. Thanks, Keith.
Yes. All righty, thank you so much, Keith.
Trevor, have you ever dreamed of living somewhere else?
You know, I can't say that I have, Nikki, but it looks like living on the moon is becoming a growing possibility. We'll explain next.
Hey guys, Danny Trejo here. There was going to be a whole song and dance routine about how you should wait your turn to enter the train. But they got me, Danny Trejo, to talk to you instead. Look, when you don't wait your turn to enter the train, it's rude and potentially dangerous. And believe me, I know a thing or two about rude and dangerous. I'm Danny Trejo. like rude, dude. Be kind, like super kind. Excuse me.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
It's been almost 46 years since humans were on the moon. Some companies are eyeing the prime real estate that's about 239,000 miles away. Megan Monta has been talking with Spaceland speculators.
If you're really looking to get away from it all, this is what real estate might look like on the moon. Companies and colleges at the Second International Moon Village Workshop and Symposium in South LA discuss the future of space settlement.
I hope by the year 2100 we have cities on the moon and habitats. There's a lot of engineering that has to take place first before you can build the roads.
One Japanese space company thinks that this will happen a lot sooner.
So just visiting and back, maybe next year and these several years we can go. But living there is very different. So maybe at least we need 10 years.
As humanity moves into space, experts agree that space is for everyone. The crucial question is, how do we include different cultures that have not yet been included in the space community?
Do we only take Western values, or what about developing countries? And to me personally, the developing country equation is a really important part of the equation, because it's not fair to say to Ghana, oh, you got here too late, there's nothing left. And so we really need to figure out a way to make sure space exploration is a universal, universally accepted and universally embraced.
First the moon, then Mars. NASA predicts humans will be checking out these astronomical bodies by 2030. For Annenberg Media, I'm Megan Manata.
Well, you guys, that sounds pretty cool, I have to say.
I'd say I like living back here in California just a little bit more, though.
But don't say that too early. If you're not happy with the results tomorrow in the election, I prefer to
Edge his face.
That is true, that is true. And make sure you can watch us tomorrow on Facebook Live from 7 to 10, our special election coverage. That's it for us. Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. For everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Trevor Sahaki.
And I'm Nikki Walker. You can catch us on AnnenbergMedia.com. Thank you. Have a good night.